Welcome to the Produce Industry Podcast, your weekly download on current events, trends, market reports, and community discussions. Join us each week from Tampa, Florida, as we cover all aspects of the produce supply chain industry. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, my boy, the voice of the produce industry, Patrick Kelly.
Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kelly, also known as Lil Citrus, coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. Everyone, we got a special treat for you as I've been having more people come to the podcast studio, having conversation about the farm life, the produce life, but realistically, trying to get more fruits and vegetables into your diet, into your life. Heck, have you learned a little bit about where your food comes from? Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with the farm babe, the one and only farm babe, everyone. And that is Michelle Miller. So we're going to talk a little bit about some products. We're going to talk about a cruise she has coming up. And we're just going to chop it up here in the podcast studio. So everyone, let's go ahead and welcome Michelle Miller. Hey.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. Listen, as I told you earlier, I really think you deserve a round of applause.
You really like me.
Hey, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. I'm a Leo, so that was a great intro.
Listen, I'm first of all, we have so much in common that we didn't realize at first. Mm-hmm. I sent you a picture of my shoes this morning because I was like, for farm day, I got to have some farm shoes on, and they weren't boots.
No, they were really fun.
They were Rocco's Modern Life.
Heifer.
High top heifer shoes.
Yes.
Okay. And I've got the whole set. And you were like, who doesn't love Rocco's Modern Life? You know how many times I've worn these shoes and people are like, what are you wearing?
Is that when you just insert a bless your heart?
Honestly, that's the one. That's that Southern. We know what that means.
Yes,
bless your heart in the South does not mean bless your heart. Okay.
Everybody needs Rocco's Modern Life shoes.
And I think the bless your heart really depends too on how you say it.
Yes.
Is it the attitude, right?
Could be.
Oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yes. No, I knew. And then I listened to the song and Heifer right at the end, she says, that was a hoot.
That was a hoot.
It's funny that the boy cow is named Heifer, but
I love that. The Wallaby. I mean, what a show. I mean, we can go on and on about the 90s and Rocco's Modern Life.
Nicktoons.
But we're talking about being millennials, right? We're like, that's so millennial. And, that's what I enjoy that, our industry, you said it earlier, you had someone kind of come up to you about being booked at all these different shows and speaking events, and they're like, I'm so glad we have a woman recognizing, our industry. And I'm like, I sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna say it's like how like Deadpool said it, like I'm like gender blind sometimes because I see everybody as the same as a person, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. But I thought that was interesting because I'm like, and I look at it, I'm like, we got another millennial coming up, right? Like
that too.
Like forget the girl, forget the boy. I don't care. Like what I care about is like our generation. We are working so hard to get to the next level. And we're almost there. Right?
Yeah.
We're almost there. But everyone, again, you're like, stop. What are we talking about? The farm babe, Michelle Miller. I've talked to you in the past. It's been over a year. We've been at Craveable dinners together with our man, Carl Fiadini of the Walk and Talk podcast.
Yes.
But let's talk about you for a second. You told me earlier, well, you have a niche. You cover produce. I do it all.
Yeah.
Myth busting, everyone. So let's talk about that for a minute, okay?
Yeah, myth busting would be more so my niche and where our food comes from. But yeah, I was a farmer up in Iowa for a while. I started the Farm Babe started off as a personal blog about 10 years ago now. How time flies. But it has switched over from a personal blog over to more of an advocacy platform. And I'm a keynote speaker, author, podcast host. I'm doing events, social media influencer, all of the things to tell the story of where our food comes from.
And that's amazing because a lot of times you don't know where your food comes from. Mm-hmm. I mean, I said this to a gentleman, it was probably a month or two ago, and we were talking about imports. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that, go back 10 years, you didn't know where your product came from.
Yeah.
So you didn't see a Summer Citrus from South Africa logo, a chili logo. It wasn't required. The labeling, I would say, for food came into the Obama administration, if you remember. So Michelle Obama worked very hard on the labeling, the fruit and vegetables in the schools, right? Like, I always laugh because if you look at like politics and you're like, I didn't like this president, I didn't like this president. Like, you got to give certain people respect, though. Like,
right.
Especially Michelle Obama, what she did to put fruit and vegetables into schools and labeling. So you wouldn't know 10 years ago. Now you can look on the package.
Yeah. And that's a lot of what I advocate for, is helping people understand the importance of like buying USA grown or buying locally grown first if they can. And, raising awareness on the challenges that farmers face. And so in addition to talking about those challenges and raising awareness to consumers, a lot of the myth busting too. It's like, well, if you're faced with all of these different labels, I do a lot of myth busting and talking about labels, but then, that's kind of what I preach to people, is the most important thing is understanding if you have a product between, USA grown versus, product of some third world country, and no offense to them, right? Like, it takes an entire world to feed a world, and imports and exports are really important. But, the importance of helping our farmers stay on the land and making sure that they can turn a profit to keep farming next year, and supporting, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but.
I think it's true. I think that, supporting farmers is one of the biggest things. I had a grower, packer, shipper reach out to me this year and was like, man, we're having issues. And, he's like, our sponsorship. And I said, okay. He's like, I don't want to cancel with you, but I said, hey, we'll take care of it. We're going to work with you all year long. We're going to still market. We're going to still do these things. And how about I bill you at the end of the year? And he was like, really? And I said, yeah. I go, let's keep marketing, because I said this even to, they're going to laugh when they hear this, but like the USA Pear Bureau. Oh, but, sure. The pears have been down, apples have been down in Washington. And I talked about that with you because we were trying to get some Arctic apples for this show.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the season, like just how everything's going, supporting farmers. So guess what? We don't have any Arctic apples here because of the season. Same thing like pears, all these different things. So I told this grower, because of all the hurricanes, everything that's happened, right? It's like, let's just work together. We'll figure it out. But we got to support you, because without you, there's no me.
Exactly.
But you still have to market your product in a down year.
Yes.
You still have to market your product if there was a hurricane. What's funny is I told someone the other day, how when Pepsi's out of stock?
They're not out of stock.
You'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never know, because they consistently and always market their products. And when you go to the store and you go to get that Pepsi and you see the empty shelf, guess what you do? You buy another Pepsi product that's not sold out.
Yeah.
That's what people do that drink soda, right? They're like, oh, okay, well, Pepsi's not here. I'll just go to Pepsi's Dr. Pepper. I'll go to Mountain Dew. I'll go here. Or if they don't, maybe they'll go to the front and get the bottles. But Pepsi's never out of stock, and they're always constantly marketing. Because why? Pepsi's a brand, right?
Yeah.
It's a brand that's owned by, actually PepsiCo owns Tropicana, right? All this together, but you never see, even if there's a freezer, even if there's no orange juice, right? You've heard all this, right? You've been there. Even if there's a milk shortage, there's still people marketing and advertising for that.
Yeah.
So I'm on that page. Yes, let's keep advocating and advertising for the farmers.
For
so
sure.
I'm 100% with you, and that's something you're doing. So I told you I told you my thoughts on big boats, but let's talk about that for a second, because as we talk about supporting farmers and events, you got the farm cruise coming up.
The farm cruise, February 24th through the 28th of 2025, is my very first annual farm cruise. And it's a farmer appreciation event. It's aboard a cruise ship on the Liberty of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. So I'm partnered up with them. My business partner, Jason, he throws an event every year called the Groove Cruise, which is the world's largest floating dance music festival, if anybody's heard of the Groove Cruise. But Jason's my good friend. He's been throwing parties on cruise ships for over 20 years. And I wanted to bring that energy, that music festival type vibe and energy and fun and excitement to our industry, to do an event that agriculture has never seen before. So it's the world's first floating farm conference, but focusing a lot on the fun. So I've got some of the biggest advocates for agriculture on social media, some of the biggest voices, like Farm Fit Mama or Field Rose or Modern Day Farm Chick, Jimmy D. Jones III, like these guys, the Shiloh Farm, they have like millions and millions of followers. So they're kind of my headliners, if you will, that are going to be kind of the face and the voice of the farm cruise, but we're going to have farm tours on the islands so we can learn about how farming is done in the Bahamas. And also, we're looking for more people to involve on that. So if you know of some farming connections in Nassau, Bahamas, let me know. But we've got some different meet and greets and events and speakers. One night, we're going to have an utterly amusing dress-up night where we all dress up as our favorite farm animals. So chicken suits are welcome. Going to have a funny farm t-shirt contest, a farmer tan contest, like all sorts of good stuff. So it's really just about fun, like letting farmers work so hard that let's have them just bring them on a vacation. It's still farming, but it's all about the fun.
That's where I was. Keep going with that though too. I mean, what kind of fun are you going to have on this trip? That's what I want to know. That's what I really want to know.
You'll have to come and find out at farmcruise.com for booking. Yeah. But it's going great. We're already 70% sold out, which is awesome. I mean, people are really loving it. We've already got some sponsors lined up, and we're probably going to have to go back to Royal Caribbean and get another room block. So it's a great great problem to have. But my goal and my dream and wish is to someday be chartering an entire cruise ship, where maybe getting like the Luke Bryans of the world and some music festival type energy and bringing that to the farming community for just like a party in the Caribbean in February for us.
I think it'd be cool. I here it is, everyone. So Wet Travel and the Farm Bay present the Farm Cruise. Now you've got a tractor pulling the boat in.
Heck yeah.
That's like my biggest fear is if something problem and they're dragging the boat in. That's like it's like my worst fear is getting on a yacht. I mean, or a cruise. So I did a yacht tour March of 2024. Jason, what year is it? What day is it?
2024.
Oh my gosh! But we did our first in-person event.
Cool.
And we did 42 virtual networking hours. So we wanted to bring the party to life. Mm-hmm. So we did the same thing. We did it on Starship Yacht down here in Tampa. We rented one of the big yachts. We had 100 people come out, and we had a celebrity guest, and like same thing you're kind of saying. And what's funny is now we're looking to do the next year, and I might not even do a celebrity guest. Like the celebrity was my friend. That's why he showed up. Like I don't know celebrities, everyone. Like it was just one of those things where he was like, yeah, I'll come. And he's in the business. Right. So it worked out great. But what I can tell you is it definitely, will help your marketing game, right? As we just talked about companies marketing.
Yes.
It definitely puts you on a level to where people now know like you're doing this for real. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think more brands are catching on to that.
Oh, yeah.
Social media, influencer marketing, I think sometimes people think, oh, you're a social media influencer. Oh, you just post like cute pictures on Instagram. I'm like, no, this is a media business. We're driving brand sales, awareness, education, advocacy, and getting millions of eyeballs on your product and
you're
creating content. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are saying, well, the old way of marketing products could be magazine ads or billboards or, commercials, but all of that has gone digital and the influencer is the person.
Even billboards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You drove down 75.
Yeah.
When you got to 275 and all that, you saw all those digital billboards past Wish Farms. Wish Farms actually has a digital billboard on their property.
Nice.
So they have their Wish Farms constant, I would say, their Wish Farms constant berries going up. But then they've got to call 813-777-4444 to advertise here. And I'm always like...
Is that the number for real?
I don't know.
Because, I saw this really great, not to change the subject, but I saw this hilarious meme on Facebook. The Kermit the Frog memes?
Yeah.
And it was Kermit on a phone, and it says, me calling J.G. Wentworth from jail because it's the only phone number I have memorized.
J.G. Wentworth, 877.
Like, it was so good. All right. Hashtag millennial problems.
Gosh.
Going back to Wish Farms.
Call J.G. That's so true. 877 cash now.
If you're in jail and you get one phone call, who are you going to call? The only number you know.
Yeah. And
it's good marketing.
And if you can look up one website, guess what that one's going to be? The only one you can remember is farmersonly.com. Because you don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Hey,
we're not here for city folks.
That's pretty good harmonizing for a second there, maybe.
Hey, I'll take it.
We'll take a vote from the audience.
Yeah,
was that good or no?
Say, you know what? I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Listen, what we do here in our own studio, we get to gloat about. So You know what? As we keep moving through this, you know, what I am excited about is, you know, you said it and I said it earlier about, you know, just having, whether you're a woman, whether you're a male, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is more people need to do this, right? We have so many people that are nobodies out there that do these fake fruit. They're just people in their kitchen and they're going viral on millions and millions and millions of views. And no one in their head has said, okay, well, why don't we talk about all the good things in produce?
Yeah, that's one thing that I think is crazy when you think about farmers. We're 1%, 1.5% of the population of North America. And the fact that we can feed 100% and people aren't applauding that is crazy to me.
I know. I think what's even more crazy is that people think like, and I think they really think this, that they're like, oh, well, I'll be competing with you or I'll compete. I'm like, no, you're not.
No.
I'm like, everybody's got their own niche. Like I had someone call me the other day and was like, dude, from like the first 50 episodes, it was like, hello, Michelle, how are you doing? Do you want a cup of coffee? Like, right. It was like, so, it was so robot. And you know what? It might've been, yes, I'm saying like, let's revert that back a second. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
Like, right.
Well, it comes with practice and time for sure.
Well, now, you know, the guy told me, he goes, dude, you sound like a radio host when I'm driving into the office and I'm listening to 1019 and or 106, I'll say 1067. You remember 1067 here in Florida? It was like that R&B back in the 2000s. All right.
I'll take your word for it.
It played everything from like Juvenile in the afternoon, right?
Yes.
To like 112 in the morning.
Yeah.
But my buddy goes, dude, he goes, you sound like you're a radio host now.
Good.
Like, he's like, you sound like he goes, I see your guests. He goes, but I come to listen to you. And I was like, no, listen to the guests. He's like, I understand that. He's like, but it's turning into like a radio show. So I said to him, that's great because then we're having authentic conversation
and
all the
it's
time.
more fun. When you told me that you didn't have any questions prepared for me, I was like, excellent.
I have a couple things prepared. Like, grab that bag. Well, we're not going to go yet, but look what I brought. Like, I brought some things. So we are going to get into that because I want to snack on the after break.
You know, I will say that I am currently on Weight Watchers. I'm down like 10 or 12 pounds so far, and fruit is 0 points. Fruits and vegetables are 0 points.
Can I be real with you?
What?
I've noticed.
Really?
Because I follow you on Instagram.
Well, thank you.
And I remember, and I actually told I showed my wife your post when you went to the doctor.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you did not like what that doctor had to tell you.
Yeah.
But I told Renee, I said, I want you to look at her, you know, tell me what you think, right? Because you went to a point where you're going to get judged on all these platforms. But my wife's the same way. She's like, I'm overweight. I know because the way I am, but I also just had my third child. So I know she's on Weight Watchers. She does a nutritionist. But sometimes you can eat as healthy as you can. You can do everything you can. And you could actually gain weight.
Yeah.
So I saw your frustrations when, you know, he was like, hey, you're obese. And you were like,
I'm not obese. I mean, just to put it out there, I'm 5'9".
Oh, gosh.
And a size 12, you know? So it's like, you know, could I stand to lose a little weight? Like, sure. And I have been, and I do, and I want to. And there's legitimate medical reasons to do that, which is fine and good. But the way the doctor presented it was just like, this doctor it was on the phone. He never saw me. He never met me. But he was just like, asking for my height and weight. And he's like, oh, that's obese. And I'm like, for the record, I carry it very well. And I do not get a shortage of like guys hitting on me or whatever, right? Like, it's like,
however
I'm confident, you know, but it's like,
that's what it's about.
Women should feel confident. And the fact that there's more of a movement towards body positivity and everything is fantastic. But I mean, and I was already like, had it in my head, I'm going to lose weight because it's like, I've got back issues and whatever. So it's like, okay, it couldn't hurt for me to lose 10. You know, I want to lose 30 pounds by the farm cruise is my goal. So I'm 10 down and 20 more to go. Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it is. And thank you for that support. And there's a way that you can deliver it, right?
Yes.
Like you can say, good for you. Like to your wife's point where it's like, you've had 3 kids, like good for you. That's amazing.
And she goes to the gym.
Yep.
And does self-defense.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's just
and
being the nutty professor. Right. As I say, you're just sitting there lump after lump of ice cream.
Yeah.
No.
I wish.
I know, right?
But nope, I don't do that. And I do, you know, I can't exercise because of my back. And I have a lot of health issues going on right now with my back and whatever. But, you know, so it's like, that's kind of why I gained a little weight is because I used to work out
because of life
5-6 days a week. I used to be a total gym rat. And then all of a sudden, oh, you've got this problem with your back and this, that, and the other. And it's like,
life happens.
Yeah, life happens. We can't be a size 5 forever, you know?
No, but we had a gastroenterologist on our virtual networking hour in September. And she talked about that. She talked about gut health, about what to eat for gut health, how to lose weight. And she goes, you guys got to realize that certain foods that you think are dietary foods, diet is not a bad 4-letter word. Okay. Now we will tell that doctor to shut the right? For doing that to you, right?
Because he was so rude with his delivery. He's like, never met me. He's like, you're obese. I'm like, you've never even seen a picture of me.
You don't even know me.
You don't even know me.
Yeah. But it's like, Dr. Perlman said that to us, and she's like, you could eat all the right foods, but your metabolism, everything plays a factor. Cholesterol, how much starch you're putting in your body, everything plays a factor. So you could be healthy inside, right? And then you can also eat the right things and it'd be different. But I have noticed a few of my friends, they've been working at it. And I always feel like just because, we were taught as kids, like you don't ever mention like women's age or women's weight. But again, I'm gender blind. I feel like Deadpool at this point when he's like, I'm sorry, I'm gender blind because I see you as a person.
Yeah.
Right. So when
that's the way it should be.
Right. So when just like me, how many times people are telling me you're too skinny, you need to eat. So my nutritionist finally said, start telling them thank you when they say you're too skinny.
Yeah.
So I do. I start telling thank you. So the conversation starts to turn really well. So they're like, hey, you're skinny, you need to eat more. I'm like, oh, thank you very much. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because then they don't know what to say besides, because then if you rebut back with, well, no, I'm not. You're leading into that political conversation that you don't want to have.
And everybody's different. Somebody can look at you and think, or me or whoever, and be like, that person has the most perfect body.
Right.
And then we're always our own worst
body
enemies.
dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Like you're like, what am I doing? Why do I have this?
Yeah. We're always our own worst enemies. But at the end of the day, like my thought process was just like, wow, how dare you? Like,
how dare you?
Heaven forbid a woman actually looks in the mirror and says like, I look good. I like my body. And I do. I like my body. But I mean, I've lost a little weight. I want to lose a little weight. So I was never doing it because I was like, oh, I'm so fat or insecure. Heaven forbid obese. Like what a jerk. But then it's like, okay, but I could work on it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with self-improvement if you're doing it for the right reasons, but encouraging women to love their bodies at all shapes and sizes, especially when they're mothers, like you just gave birth, give yourself some grace. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
It's true.
Talking about social media, there's this really funny video called It's by the Mean Gays. And it's these two guys. If you just look up the Mean Gays on Instagram, and they go to visit one of their friends, just gave birth. She says, haven't you lost the body weight yet?
Oh.
After literally hours after she just gave birth. Why haven't you lost the baby weight?
How dare you?
It's funny. You got to watch the video.
Oh my gosh. How dare you?
How dare you?
But it's so true. But again, people, just like my wife, it's like, I laugh because I talk about working out. We're doing a 30-mile hike this year in the Dominican. And I keep telling her, I'm like, hey, and I do it every year. This is my 3rd year. It'll be her first. I told her, I was like, you got to work out. And she gives me this look like, live my life for a day, right? And I'm like, no, listen, when I tell you about working out, it's about us getting ready for the trip.
Yeah.
Like if we lose weight, if we do all this, that's all added value, right? So that's kind of what I always say. It's added value, but also you also got to remember, like, we're doing this for ourselves.
Right.
Right. So, all right, let's take
30 miles is nothing to scoff at. Like
3 days. 1 day is 11.1 miles.
That is insane.
I know.
Ask my friends about the time I went on a hike.
But I love it.
It's terrible.
I love it, but I kind of love it though.
I like walking, but hiking, maybe I'll work my way up to it a little bit. A little bit's good.
It'll be fun. The farm cruise is probably for you. The hike is probably for you.
There we go. Perfect.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's hear from our buddy Carl and a couple other Dynamite sponsors.
I'm Carl Fiadini with Walk and Talk, the restaurant life. If you follow the show, thank you. We really appreciate the support. If you don't follow the show and you're a foodie or a chef or you're into the restaurant world, this is your home. Check us out. We sincerely appreciate it. All about the food. We're filming chefs, their food creations, in the best establishments near you. All right, so let me tell you where you can find us. We're on YouTube, we're on Newsbreak, we're all over the internet. We're also streaming on your TV with Roku, Android TV. You can find us on the Amazon app, and very soon, Apple TV. Come on!
Welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast, everyone. It's always great to hear from Dynamite sponsors creating dynamite content in the produce and supply chain industry. Shout out to JGLC and my buddy Carl Fiadini at Walk and Talk. Every time I see that commercial, I am starving, and I'm sorry I have to play it at lunchtime for everyone. But let's go ahead and get back to talking with the farm babe, Michelle Miller. Hey, welcome back.
That's a great commercial.
Which one?
The one with Carl.
No, Carl.
But my bias is showing because I'm friends with him too. So
I love Carl.
Yeah.
JGLC is a great sponsor of mine. Maddie Fisher is someone that I think you would totally get along with.
I need to meet them too.
Maddie Fisher is amazing. She is one of our sponsors. I met her on Zoom in 2020, and next thing you know, it's like I swear, my wife says you two are like brother and sister. Right? It's like it's a great relationship, but I think we will strangle each other if we had the opportunity. You know those people.
Yeah.
You've got them as friends, right? I got like 4 of those friends.
Absolutely.
Like, you know who you are. I'll strangle you right now. And you know I can. So great to have you in the studio. You know, this is one question. I had no questions prepared for you, but except for this one.
Oh. We needed to play a dun dun dun.
I don't even know what I have.
Do you have any?
Dun dun dun. No,
and then it's gonna go boing. Hey, I almost put a red thing on the microphone for a clown nose. I go honky honky honky.
Oh, that's not even it. See, like some of the programs we have, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But the question I had was, you do a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
You do a lot of in-person events. Have you been to a podcast studio for the industry, for the ag industry yet?
For the ag industry, I think.
Not counting Carl, because Carl's technically in meat and food service.
You know, my podcast producer has a production studio, but it's not just ag. I'm actually probably one of the only farm podcasts he has. Oh, heard it here, a Florida agriculture puncast with me, Michelle Miller, the farm babe. Shameless plug. Perfect. Let me think. I don't think I've been in like an in-person studio for ag. I don't think so. Which, by the way, whenever I say ag, I have to clarify that I have a very thick Wisconsin accent sometimes. So I mean to say
it's ag.
Ag, like bags. It's ag, not egg.
It's not ag. It's ag.
Egg, not
ag.
Egg. Like not a dozen eggs.
Not a dozen eggs.
It's a podcast for egg.
For egg.
Do you like bags or no? So Wisconsin.
Yeah, you're almost up in Manitoba.
Yeah.
And you're getting up towards Canada there, don't you know?
Not too far, you know, or no?
My family is from Edmonton, Alberta, so we definitely know the accent up there. My buddy always tells me, he goes, when we travel to Canada, like your ancestry comes out because you start, with your accent and you start like letting it go a little. And
there you go. You got it.
And he's like, all of a sudden, he's like, well, can we go to the store? And I'm saying, hey, grab me a pop. And all of my buddies looking at me, he's like, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, my mom, they're just like, then I leave and I'm like, it's a cultural thing.
Yes. It's like when I go home to Wisconsin too, it's the same. Like I'll spend a week with my mom and my friends, and the next thing you know, it's right back.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Well,
but now I'm back in the South. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
So now here we are. Now here we are living here in Florida because we escaped the cold.
Living our best life.
Yes, I do love it in Florida.
No, and the reason I say that is because, so the Produce Industry Podcast, which is now the Produce Industry Network, because we have 4 different shows. Heck, you never know. Maybe the Farm Babe show might come under the network one day.
You never know.
And, we started Ag Life Media. And you notice I didn't say Ag Life. I said Ag Life Media.
Ag.
You got to put it in there, that Ag Life Media.
Ag Life.
But
Ag Life.
We have this for the industry. That's what this isn't just my office. Yes, I do work out of here, but we want people to come and enjoy that the industry has a media outlet that allows you to come in. Like I said, I love the Packer. You know the Packer. You know all these other farm journals, right?
Yeah.
But I love them. But we still see them at shows with, hey, so what's your name?
Yeah, totally.
And what was your quote? Hold on, say it 4 more times. 4 more times. 4 more times. Okay. All right, great. We'll get you in a quote next week. I love those guys.
They're great.
They're doing the right thing, right?
Yes.
But what I also say is we need to up our game.
Yes.
Right.
So media takes a village.
We have to. So as we see this happen, we want to get more people to come to the studio to get their brand out there, right? To do all these things, because I say this in a way of like nobody else is doing it. And you can create a new culture and experience for people. And then once the consumer side starts seeing it, they'll start to gravitate and go, oh my gosh, this is where I want to see and encapsulate all of my stuff, right?
Yeah, there is the Rural Podcast Network. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I haven't
even heard that one yet.
So the Rural Podcast Network does a pretty good job, but I don't think they have a studio. It's just more so like a website and a hub for people with rural and farm podcasts. So I'm on that website and that platform.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you guys should collaborate.
So mine's way different. So like if you were to come on, like I could put you on my website or my mobile app, but if you were to say like, hey, we want to join the network, we would completely transform your RSS feed into a new RSS feed under our network. So it would be on a website, but then you would automatically get my subscribers, and then you'd already get my kind of like team backing it, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as we uploaded it, so I say that because we have some that we put on a website or we put on other places, but our network, and I learned this from Podfest this last year, is these podcast networks that are out there, they all are individually owned RSS feeds, but then what they're doing is they're kind of forming it or filming, or what do you say? Like they're funneling it, into one. They're like
Play-Doh.
Yeah, they're like doing it all. But what it is it's not showing your downloads. It's not showing this. So Captivate actually will give me your downloads, your episodes, your geographics, and then once you're in the network together, everything shows up, right? So you'll have a little Produce Industry Network on all the different logos and different things like that. So
that's cool.
When it shows up in Apple, it'll come through as a network, and then it constantly gets reposted to the main page all the time. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yes, props to you, because even as we sit in the studio, I'm like all these chords and things. Like I'm a social media influencer. I'm a content creator, writer, journalist, speaker,
not a producer.
But I'm not a producer. Like I have an agency I work with. I have a whole team of people that help the Farm Babe brand roll every day. But it's like one of my agencies, she said it best. She's like, Michelle, I just want you to show up and play the guitar.
I wish I could show up and play the guitar.
She used to manage bands and artists, and I was like, I like that analogy. I just want to show up and play the guitar. But all of this stuff behind the scenes, oh my God, I love videographers. I love tech people. And by the way, I'm looking to hire more videographers. So that's always a good thing to put out there. But anything on the back end, I like to show up and talk. I'm good at talking. I'm not good at teching. That's what I say.
I've learned all this in the last couple of years.
That's impressive.
I knew none of this before.
Very impressive.
None of this before. So, and I say that because change is a good thing. And that's one thing that stuck with me to heart. I went and saw the band Shinedown. Do you know the band Shinedown?
Yes, of course. I'm a millennial.
I got to meet the whole band a few times. I've been able to have a few talks with them, and I love them. I love them to death.
Cool.
And I remember, going to meet the band, and I'm sitting there with Zach Myers, right? And I'm sitting there with Barry, and Brent comes up, and I was like, dude, you cut your hair. And he's like, yeah. I was like, look at me, I got long hair. Like I had long hair down the middle of my back. Like Shinedown was my band.
You did?
Oh, I had long hair down the middle of my back.
No
Longer than your hair.
No kidding.
And I went to this conference. I went to this, VIP deal. And it's like, he goes, change is a good thing, brother.
Yeah.
That has stuck with me since.
Nice.
And Brent Smith, obviously, I love him. Shinedown's one of my favorite bands of all time, next to Avenged Sevenfold. And I mean, I still, when I have times of down, like I will bring up Shinedown and listen to songs like "I'll Follow You" or "Into the Ghost" or "Crow and the Butterfly," like a lot of songs that
absolutely.
And it's one of those things where it stuck with me for a very long time. But change is a good thing, is what he said to me, and I've had to constantly change my produce career.
For sure.
All the time.
Yeah.
And this is part of it. So I'm always like, if I want to provide value, is my value always going to be saying, I know Walmart, I know Publix, I know Wegman? Like, no, I don't know them. It's just an account I had one year.
For sure.
Right?
Evolution is cool. I mean, I never in a million years thought even starting the Farm Babe, I started it as a Facebook page, as a personal blog almost 10 years ago. And I was like, oh, this is something fun to do, like a hobby. I didn't realize that a decade later, it would be a full-fledged media brand with teams and employees and doing, 6 different revenue streams of media influencing work and speaking and all of these things. And it's so cool. And a lot of times that's what I speak on as a keynote, is helping people understand the power of their own voice, is like getting farmers out there. It's like, if we want to sell and market our brand, I mean, there's no voice more trusted than the farmer.
That's 100% true.
So,
that's 100% true.
Helping them get out there. People want to know where their food comes from, but they don't always get that opportunity. No. So getting to share their stories is, like the most,
I love sharing stories.
It's my favorite thing that I do. Probably yours too. Just getting to talk to people and be like, wow, that's interesting.
Do you get
everybody
your friends,
has a story to tell.
Yeah. And do you get your friends that like tell the truth? And I'll know by your look. I'm looking right at your eyes right now. You've got those people that are like, Michelle, you talk too much. You have friends that do that. I have friends that be like, Pat, you talk all the time.
I actually don't think I hear that very often.
So,
am I talking too much? I'm on a podcast. I'm supposed to talk.
Oh my gosh, she just said it. Thank you so much. I'm on a podcast, everyone, which is why I talk so much. But what I do is I listen, though, because I have so much subject matter experts that I sit down with. But all my friends on the outside, they're like, "Oh, we see you. You're talking. You're always with people." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm learning."
Yeah.
And then what I learn, I get to talk about.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not just talking about my personal opinions all the time. Like, this isn't high school where I'm just like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. No, when I'm talking to people, I'm like, hey, I just learned that Summer Citrus from South Africa is bringing midnights in at the end of the year. Do you guys do that? Right. So it's always like a constant conversation. But sometimes I got those friends, they're like, dude, you're always talking. And I'm like, I run a podcast.
Exactly. You should be talking. It's what you do.
I'm a radio host.
We're in the media. We're supposed to talk. But yeah, to your point, it is a lot of it. It's a lot of listening to. It's a lot of learning and educating and, and moving that needle and pushing the messaging forward. And, music, it's funny you mentioned music a little bit ago, like with the farm crews trying to get more music and kind of take it in that direction. But it's a great way to connect with people. A lot of times people will say, well, how do I tell my story? My voice can't make a difference. How do I connect with people outside of agriculture? And music is the number one way to do that. If you can say, hey, I like Shinedown, now you have a whole network of people that are going, I like that. Whoa, he likes that.
He likes that?
I like house music. And a lot of people in agriculture are like, what's house music? And I'm like, oh, like John Summit or Tiesto or Cascade or,
What about trap music? Like I got found out with like Christmas trap music this year and I was like, what is that?
What is
that? But
it's
like a remix of like rap. And so it's like when you hear Jingle Bells, you just think it's like drop it like it's hot Jingle Bells.
Really?
Oh, it's like club music. I had a cleaner was cleaning. I do cleaning in my house. So I'll have a cleaner come every 1 month or so because I have 3 kids, dogs, and all that. And she's like, "Do you mind if I put on music?" And she put on it. And it was like, I can't even do it. It was so crazy. It was like Jingle Bells was off the hook. I'm going to send
that.
you
I need that, yeah.
I'll send you a link, but it is
Yes.
like Jingle Bells, like mixed with 400 Degrees, Trick Daddy. Like, I'm
here for it.
like, right? Like, I'm talking about, and that
Yeah.
ready? And then also, I brought that up. Maddie Fisher was like, you don't know about that? And I'm like, oh my God.
Come on, Maddie Fisher.
Yeah, you need Maddie Fisher in
I
your
do
life.
need
There's
Maddie
a lot
Fisher
of
in my
people
life.
that need Maddie Fisher in their life.
Cascade does that too with house music. There's like a house music Christmas album. It's so good. But this is the way that we make ag cool. So when you have a podcast or social media or whatever it is you're doing, sharing tidbits that's fun about yourself and your farm that other people can relate to and say, I know that album, like we're millennials. We have, goofy things to talk about, like Rocco's Modern Life on a shoe.
I got, what about all this toys I have in this background?
I mean, I was checking it out earlier.
Like that's one thing. Like if you look behind me, we got all these toys, but Rocco's up there with Spunky. You just gotta find him there.
No way.
But
That'll be my scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
later.
I've got a lot of stuff in there that is obvious. I have a Marvin the Martian. Like, come on, if that's not 90s, like you don't even know what is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
next you're gonna bust out some Nickelback on me, aren't you?
Don't even start. Like, I just can't get across that Chad Kroger's hair is so short and it kills me.
I know. I saw him in concert. I don't tell anybody. I went to. I actually paid money to see
you
Nickelback,
went to Nickelback
once.
and like that's like going and seeing Creed as well.
Yeah. And it was right after he cut his hair, and I was like, "Who is that guy? Can you take me higher?" Yeah, like you're a '90s kid when you can perfect the yeah. And it's every single song. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can you take me higher?
And that's Creed, and that's Creed. We know that because we're millennials. I think that might be the episode.
But even though Nickelback, look at this photograph. Looking like it makes me laugh. Like you could just mumble those whole songs,
Absolutely.
and you would sound amazing. I think that's
make
what
it
they
work.
did.
Probably.
That's what they did.
Just
Okay.
mumble it out, and then there you have it. Lyrics.
Start a mumble rock band here.
Lyrics.
I love that though because we talk about personal experience, and when you're able to say, like, I always heard my dad talk about the Eagles and AC/DC and all
Love
this.
them too.
So do I, but generation. So now when I talk about like Shinedown or Avenged Sevenfold, I have people who are like, dude, you listen to Event. I had literally posted a picture. I was doing a video and I posted on purpose, but on accident. And it was me with my shirt off cutting tomatoes.
I love this.
Yeah.
This needs to be like inserted in the episode, like viral Patrick with his shirt off.
Yeah, and it's funny because it got more views on my personal page than it did on some of my podcast stuff. But I have an Avenged Sevenfold tattoo on my chest, and I had someone reach out. I was like, "Dude, we'd be friends a long time ago if I knew you were an Avenged Sevenfold fan." And I was like, but I had posted this video on my personal page because I was shooting a video for my Instagram, and I realized that I didn't have a shirt on because I do these in my house. So then I'm like, I should probably put a shirt on.
No,
So
that's
then
how
when
you go viral.
Right. So then what I did was I posted on my personal page making my podcast videos, then realized I should put a shirt on.
Oh, yeah. See, that's funny.
And then I get 6,000 views on this one thing. And then I even have people like, when's your, what's it called? When's your,
Farm Cruise?
no, my, what's that? OnlyFans.
Oh,
they were like,
I want to start an Only Farms. Can we start an Only Farms?
Listen, if there's an OnlyFans for anything, like anything, right? So someone reached out, they're like, bro, you should do an OnlyFans page of just you cutting produce with your shirt off.
Absolutely.
And in my head, I go, what's wrong with you? And then he was like, seriously, never show your face.
That would be hilarious.
Right? What are we cutting today? Let's get the tomato, everyone.
Yes. I want
to
do.
Do you like a big beefsteak tomato?
Absolutely.
Let's cut it. But never see my face.
There's an Instagram account devoted to just women eating bananas.
Why?
You know why.
I know why, but why?
Why?
Now I'm going to go
and
look
it's got
at
a really big following.
I bet it does.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Listen, I asked my wife, she said
there
no.
is a market for everything.
My wife said no. Like she was like, probably not.
I want to start an Only Farms. We could do just a harvest of whatever. And
I bet you could start that on OnlyFans, call it Only Farms.
Only Farms.
Yeah, and I bet you it would get hits. But.
I bet it would too.
All right, listen.
As would you with your shirt off.
No, I'm not doing
tomatoes.
it. Listen, and I laugh because I went to a trade show. And my wife will hear this too. I went to a trade show. I had like literally 15, 20 people like, "What's up, big dog?" I was like, "What?" And they're like, oh yeah. They're like, we know what that looks like with your shirt off. I was like, oh my God. I was like, they're like, we saw that video. And I started to remember that I have some people that are on my personal page, right?
Yeah. There you go.
That are also, so I have people in the industry that were like,
big dog.
what's up, man?
Little
They're
citrus.
like, dang, bro. They're like, didn't know you had a 6-pack. I was like, or here, ready? This is the best one. I was like, me? And again, I know I do, but I don't, I only post 1 or 2 of those every year just to talk about my body and, where I'm at with my journey. Right. But yeah,
it goes back to the body shaming videos of like every, dare I say, one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Oh gosh, Jesus.
You're like, somebody could say, oh, you're obese or you're too skinny or whatever it is that somebody wants to critique about you. And then you're like, thank you. Because
thank you.
Your wife loves it. And that's all that matters. So get out of my office.
Yeah, get out of, you're fired.
Get out of my office.
Well, listen, I brought some products for us today because we've got a few minutes left. So why not have a couple snacks?
All right.
So my kids, obviously, I've got a 12, a 9, and a 3-year-old. My 12-year-old's past this, but my 9 and my 3-year-old still like the snack packs.
Oh, okay.
So we got these snack packs, and
I'm 42 going on 7. Does that count?
And you will definitely eat a snack pack.
I will eat a snack pack.
So I got these snack packs, and they come with different items. So, all right, you ready? These are millennial stuff here.
Ooh.
So we've got
Toy Story is good.
We've got Minnie. I got this
Okay.
one for you.
Okay.
Because I did get it. It's for the girl. And then we've got Woody,
All right.
one of my faves,
Gotta love the SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Okay. And then who doesn't love Stitch? And then some of the new ones are like Bluey and other ones that I saw, but my kids go for these every time. This is Crunch Pack. But I was talking about these. Which one do you want? I'm gonna let you choose.
Mini, because it's got a lot of apples and they look like Arctic apples. And I like Arctic. Maybe they're not, but
No,
they
maybe
look
they're
like
not,
they
but
are.
they look just like
They
them.
look just like Arctic apples.
And it's crazy because Crunch Pack, it does a lot more than apples. And obviously, our sponsor is Arctic Apples.
Yeah.
Arctic Apples is, like I always say, it's that packable, snackable apple. And but this is a little bit different, right? Look, this one has gummies in it.
That's amazing.
It's got gummies, cheese, all around. I'm gonna go with the Paw Patrol one. You wanna know why? Because it's got dog bones in it. Like, who doesn't love a Scooby snack?
Absolutely.
Like, who doesn't love
these
a
look like
Scooby snack?
these look like little Minnie Mouse goldfish crackers.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
I'm like, I got blocks of cheese. Look at that pop.
There we go.
That was like a pop.
This is pretty cute.
All right, so
Disney, because we are so close to Orlando. So it makes sense.
Is it weird that I smell things? I smell things. I have to like.
Are you one of those people that does that before you take a shot? You should never smell a shot. Just take the shot.
Don't smell a shot.
Don't
okay?
smell a shot.
I haven't drinking in 3 years, but don't
Okay.
ever smell a shot.
That's
okay?
impressive if you haven't drank in
That's how
3
I keep
years.
this figure too, everyone. But I always, because this is what I'm gonna tell you, and I've noticed this with other. I've done a lot of apple people in my life. Like I've dealt with the cut apples and Arctic apples, and even this, there's no chemical smell. And that's what I told Arctic Apples in the beginning. I was like, there's no chemical. Smell it. Seriously. Give it a whiff.
I could smell it from the second I opened the package.
You can smell the apples.
It smells really good.
And then
I don't know, like
you know what? Let's have one.
these are like a good like gala, potato. Gala.
That's crunchy.
These are really good. Really, really good apples.
Well, that's the point, right? Like, and if I always say, like, if I had some Arctic apples, they would have been here. But I had, but we got some snacks, right? But
That's okay.
I think this is the cool thing about it. So for the kids, you've got, again, like this is a little Scooby snack, right? What do you have? You have block of cheese, okay?
Oh, and then there's
What do you got on that side?
these are what I was talking about. These are the little like Minnie Mouse.
It's a mouse?
Yeah, it's like a
What
little
is it, though?
Minnie Mouse ears. It's like a goldfish cracker, maybe like a little pretzel or something. I guess I'll tell you what it is in a sec.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like those little things you get on the plane, like those little like crackers or whatever? Better.
Better.
And then
It's
look,
like a goldfish cracker, really good.
gummies. Mm-hmm. Not bad. I want to know who their gummy supplier is. They should do the fruit gummies. You know what I'm talking about? There's actual gummies now. Like there's a company called Adam and Eve. Yeah, or Apple and Eve. I was way off. Apple and Eve, but they do these fruit strips that are just made out of fruit.
Collab. Hello. Collab. All right. So right now I'm on product. All of them are good.
Yeah.
I like them.
These are great apples.
And they come, and some of them, did you notice that yours are fully peeled?
Yeah.
Look at these ones.
Oh, those have, yeah, but I think they're the same. Do you think they're a gala? Oh, God.
Well,
This is the part when you chew in somebody's mouth. Just kidding. Ew, I hate that sound. Oh, I hate that sound. It's like my worst, like my least favorite sound.
That might be a different apple. Listen.
Try this one. Switcheroo.
Okay. That one might be a different apple. It tastes, this one right here that you're tasting right now, more earthy.
It's different.
Oh my gosh. More earthy too.
Do you think that's a gala?
Either that or a Honey Crisp.
Oh, it could be a Honey Crisp.
Let us know what you think. Let us know.
See, now I need to know. What is your favorite kind of apple?
Oh gosh.
Mine is a Jonagold, and when I tell people that, like people in the apple industry, Jonagold, they're like, you know the Jonagold. And that was because I did a partnership with Michigan Apples.
That's pretty cool.
# sponsored. But no, I really appreciate it. I mean, that's just getting to go around and tell the farmer's story and learn about all the different varieties and get to taste them in the orchards fresh off. And there's nothing better than fresh off the tree.
There's not.
It's so good.
I agree.
So
and
good.
we stuck with an apple theme today.
Yeah, we did.
We did. So I also have some mini apples. So those are called Rockit. Have you ever heard of those?
Not until today.
Really? So I believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, because it should say it on the packet, but Chellin Fresh is the person or company that makes this, or sorry, doesn't make it. They're the marketer behind it. And I've tried them a few different times. And I remember one time I did it on a podcast and I told him, I said, it's not that sweet. And the guy goes, try it again. Try it again. So I'm on a mission, everyone, to like find the perfect Rockit apple in season. So if you do know, comment and let us know because we want it. So why don't you, here, pass this over.
Yeah.
I would say, pass this over to me. Okay, and we are going to look at this. You hear that? You hear the crunchiness of the packaging? Look at all the apples. I'm gonna go ahead and I mean, you got to just grab one right off the top.
Yeah, they are. They're like these little mini apples. I kind of like the concept of a smaller apple.
I was gonna say there. She went right into it. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I think it's really good. Really good.
How good is really good though? On a scale of 1 to 10.
It's not Jonagold good,
but
it's good.
All right, let me see here. Let me get up close here. Finally.
Good?
It's good. It's sweet with a little bit of tart, but you can the flavor. The flavor you can.
Now
I can smell the flavor.
You said you tried it once or twice before and you didn't like them. Was it a different harvest, different year, season?
Maybe.
You know?
So when I see them, I try to grab them now.
That's what, when I do like social media content, a lot of times I help consumers understand that, right? As they're like, well, I tried it once and it wasn't good. Or, people think, well, this wine is good this year and it was bad, and it's like, it's the same thing applies. And you're like, well, why was this bottle of wine good, but I tried the same thing the next year and it was bad? It's like, well, people don't always understand. It's like, well, why did my berries last so long in my fridge? I'm skeptical of it. And it's
My gosh.
Probably because you didn't break the cold chain. Good for you.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean? Like you didn't leave it in a hot car.
My wife always says to me, like, why do you always take the citrus out of the fridge? And I say on purpose, right? Like I do it on purpose because guess why? If you're breaking the cold chain, putting it back in. You're breaking the cold chain, putting it back in. So when you think about oranges, they are stored between 38 and 42 degrees, right? As soon as they go on the store shelves, Michelle, you're at room temperature. Why would you take that room temperature piece of fruit that is a tree fruit that's got skin on it, right? And then put it back. So you've got the pulp temperature was down to 40 degrees, and then you took it out to room temperature where it should be. And then you go and take the oranges and put them right back in the fridge, and you're wondering why when you taste them, they're like a little mealy or the flavor's not there. No, leave them out on the countertop.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And people might be skeptical against that, but,
but
I do.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just all part of consumer education is, they don't understand why produce lasts long or short or whatever it is. And then that's kind of the beauty of media is saying, hey, this is how you properly store an orange.
As it should
it's
be.
fun.
As it should be. Now, I got one other product that I normally don't go for all the time. It's grab that bag. Show everybody.
Should I Vanna White this?
Yeah, would you listen? Let's get you full screen. So we got moonlight, plums,
dancing in the moonlight,
dancing in the
plums all
moonlight.
night,
Everybody
eating plums all night because the moonlight.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Because they're moonlight. What do you? Oh, she went right.
That was a noise.
That was a good one.
That was a crunch.
How are the plums? Why don't you throw me a plum?
All right.
You can do this. Hold on. Let's get this on camera so we see the miss or the catch. All right, we got this.
All right, we got it.
Oh,
I did it.
Got
Just
it.
barely did it. I was always picked last in gym class, so that was a really big deal.
She's rhyming today.
I am not athletic.
You were picked last in gym class.
But I was always picked last. I am like the most unathletic person you've ever met. So the fact that I threw that and you you caught it.
I used two hands.
It was it was a bad throw.
I'm not a wide receiver over here, okay? A podcast host. All right, so got to give it. Plums don't really smell.
I mean,
normally because like Bartlett pears, they'll give off an aroma as they ripen.
Yeah.
Right? Certain things will give an aroma off and you'll know. And I just noticed that the other day because I'm doing Bartlett pears and I'm like, I can't buy pears. They're green. Then I looked at the bag. It was like, buy them green, put them on your countertop. I was like, oh my God.
There we go.
I was like, life hack. But they start
know?
to smell the aroma of a pear comes in your head. That sounded juicy. Like, all right, ready?
That noise.
Wow. That's a leaner. Whoa. You got to lean into it or it's going to go on your shirt. Plum from Moonlight. This is a California plum. I think so.
Product of USA.
Okay. See?
California.
Labeling.
Moonlightfruit.com.
We would never have known.
I appreciate knowing that this was grown in California. USA grown.
Where was this? New Zealand. That was New Zealand. And it's inspected by US. I would be sure that this is all US. I would be sure. Turkey sausage, cheese. Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Probably.
We'll ask Crunchback next time. I definitely think we need to ask.
Are you into buying USA grown first?
Who?
You and
Me in general?
Yeah,
No.
no.
I long for seasons. So I will buy local as always, right? But like when my complimentary seasons, like summer citrus from South Africa is here, right? No, I'm not going to go try and find a California grapefruit right now when you can get a South Africa grapefruit that is absolutely stunning, amazing, and flavor is amazing.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is because one of the things that I like to advocate for buying local is just to help people realize the problems that farmers face with buyers. It's like, well, why would we source this beautiful, delicious, perfect produce from the USA when we can get it from another country for pennies on the dollar?
That I agree with.
And then they leave farmers in the dust. So that's one thing that I like to raise awareness on is just, hey, like farmers are in the US, we're held to these really high labor standards and cost of production. And it's, costing farmers tens of thousands of dollars a day just to harvest. But if the grocery store isn't going to buy it, if they don't have a buyer or a buyer that's going to pay them enough money to be in the green, they kind of leave them in the dust. So
I agree.
I always try to look for USA grown if it's in season and if there's a choice, because I think it's nice to support, especially here in Florida.
No, I agree with you.
But we lose 3 acres of farmland every minute to urban development. So it's like
100%.
we need to keep farmers on the land. And how do we do that? By supporting them and making sure they have buyers and a place to go and that they're getting properly treated. Because market prices are a big challenge for farmers all across the board.
Everywhere.
Lately, like corn and soybeans.
Well, let me ask you a question.
I'm from Iowa, so that's where I grew up.
Don't get her started. Her accent will start coming out again, everyone.
I grew up in Wisconsin, but farmed in Iowa. But
all of a sudden, she's like, "Well, we were in Iowa, but I was from Wisconsin." Like, all of a sudden, like, whoa,
I lived
where
in
does
Iowa.
this accent come from?
I lived in Iowa in my 30s, so that's where I was a farmer. But we were corn and soybean farmers, of course.
That's why it's up there.
Hold your applause, a corn farmer in Iowa. Shocker.
I think that would be the. crickets everywhere.
Yeah.
No,
What a
it's
surprise.
true though. I
But
mean,
it's tough out there for farmers. And so raising awareness on those issues, helping keep farmers in the green, keep them on the land, keep them in business, that is the hill I will die on.
yeah, I agree. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So what percentage of asparagus is grown in the United States?
Not very much. I know that Michigan is probably the biggest producer of it, right?
Okay.
And they produce, I used to know the statistics. So
No, we don't need. I just want to know if you know, because that's one thing that people tell me. They're like, "Oh, I only buy like USA asparagus." I'm like, "Oh, so you only eat asparagus 1 month out of the year?"
Pretty much, yeah.
And they're
I
like,
think it's like April or May for
That's it.
Michigan, yeah.
And I know
shout out to Michigan asparagus,
right? And Idaho has
Idaho,
asparagus as well
yeah.
because my buddy Shay Myers, Shay the
Shay
farm
Myers.
kid.
I'm friends with Shay also. He's fantastic.
I'll be out with Shay at his farm in 2 weeks. We're heading out
Cool.
to Idaho, but you know what I mean?
I was on his farm last year.
He's
Tell him I
amazing.
said hello.
He's
yeah,
amazing.
he does a great job.
Yeah, but look, I mean, so like people are like, "Oh, well, we don't need imports." Yes, we do, but I'm with you. Yes, we do need to support California, Texas, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, right? We do because when Noble Citrus, right? That's Florida citrus.
Yep.
I switch. But people are like, yeah, but you're a California citrus guy. I'm also a horrible salesman because I'll tell someone, you don't buy a navel orange from me until December. And my buddies over there going, what are you doing? We need to sell oranges. And I'm like, yeah, but so I want to give a customer a bad experience. Like early navel oranges, yeah, we want to get them out to the market because they're ready, but it doesn't mean the consumer's ready to eat them.
Yeah.
So that's why sometimes I will still stick with, right, that juice. And I have a juicer right behind me, a Citrus America Citricasa juicer.
Ooh.
There's only one reason I don't have this running today.
Because it's broken down.
Valencias. We have not had a Valencia ship past Texas. I can't find Valencias, California Valencias. The juice price is so high. All this stuff is happening.
Gotcha.
So I would have had to go get South African navels or Chile navels, which you and me both know are not juicing oranges.
Yeah.
I'd have to mix it with tangerines, right, which are also from another country.
Yeah.
So this smorgasbord of juice that I would have made you today would have
Yes.
probably cost me $15 a glass.
Right.
Right? And it would taste okay.
Yeah. And the only reason why I bring up the fact that it could be broken down is just because it's spoken like a true farmer where everything breaks down.
Everything's broken.
Everything
Hey, great tractor. You haven't used it in years.
Yeah, everything's broke down when you're a farmer. There's literally like my friend Jimmy has that broke down farms on social media. And I started doing a hashtag 100 farmers, 100 breakdowns where I'm asking 100 farmers, how often do you break down? And
All
I
the
actually
time.
walked up on an onion grower out by Shay Myers' place, actually in Oregon. I was working with USA Onions out there and I was documenting onion harvest. So much cool stuff to learn about every day in this industry. But like his onion door was like broken. And I was like, how is it a door? And it was fun. It was like a funny.
It's not. It's a pathway.
It's not. No, but it was a funny like video because people don't know what an onion door is. And a lot of farmers probably don't even know. So just creating fun content around that. But
That's amazing.
Everything-
And who doesn't love Shay?
Shay is great.
He's amazing. He's amazing. I can't wait to see him. I'll see him next week at
Yes.
SEPC Southern Innovations. And then the following week, I'll be with him in Idaho.
Cool.
Which is crazy to try and get to Idaho from Florida.
It is, yeah.
It is just
I will be
insanely
there
crazy.
next month. Yeah. But tell him I said hi. We went to a Boise State football game together last year.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't
it
know
was
you guys
fun.
were. And now I'm definitely.
Well, it was like
gonna
a
be
whole. It was like a whole USA Onions thing.
Doesn't matter.
Getting all of us together.
I didn't
It
hear
was
about this.
Well, I didn't hear about your yacht party. So there.
Jeez. No, actually you did. Remember I told you about it well, listen, in your defense, you might have had a couple drinks that night.
I did have a couple drinks that
The night we were together,
Yep.
and I was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, yeah, I remember telling you, but everything happened so fast.
It was like we were all talking. We were a big group.
and then the
having all
party
these
was
fun
over.
conversations.
I know.
Yeah. And then it was like.
it was my fault.
But you're right. Now that you mention it, you did mention it to me.
I remember I did. There was something, I remember, actually, you know what? I believe you did. I believe that you did get an invite. I'm not saying you didn't just show up. I think there was a conflict of something. You had something going on or you weren't there.
I think you're right.
But yeah, I mean, I love that our community gets together, and that's what you're trying to put together: the farm crews, the community, right? The podcast, the blog. It was about
Bringing us
bringing
together.
awareness that brought a community together. So
Absolutely. I'm all about that community and relationship building and friendships and just strengthening everything that we do.
yeah, well, I love it. I appreciate you coming on the show
Hey,
today.
appreciate you having me.
and,
Thank you.
I look forward to maybe doing some store checks together, getting
That
on a
would be so
farm. I'm just saying,
fun.
let's try to have some fun. So
yeah, let's do it.
thank you for joining.
Thanks for
and
having me.
I look forward as I'm looking at my box and trying to find another round of applause for it. Let's get a can we get Michelle one more? Everyone.
Wow, thanks. That was a good one.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll see you very soon.
See you next time.
Everyone, it's always great to have guests here in the office. And everyone, we're going to have more fun. We're going to try more produce items. We're going to have more subject matter experts on the line talking produce and supply chain here in Tampa, Florida. We're bringing you everything you need to know in the produce and supply chain industry. If it's not me on the Monday show, you can catch the History of Fresh Produce on Tuesday with John Papp, the Global Fresh series on Wednesday with Juanita Gallio, and on Fridays with Dan, the Produce Man. Fresh from the Field Fridays, everyone, because it's always best when you get it fresh. Am I right? Or am I right, everyone? We'll see you next time.